kiss my ass.
All right, so let's start out with something fun. The host of the whatever his show is called, Tucker Carlson from Fox News, he was confronted recently by a guy in a store in Montana, Livingston, Montana to be more exact, where he was for a fly fishing trip. And the guy confronted Tucker Carlson and he just shared a piece of his mind. He wanted to let Tucker Carlson know how he felt about him. And rightfully so. I mean, if a person like Tucker Carlson, and I don't care whether you are on whatever side of the aisle that you stand on, if you are into politics, but people like this who really just share their opinions, or what I believe is sharing what is written up and is pasted on a teleprompter that you're just the host of the show and you're reading it, and it's just pretty much all based on opinions. And if you have the right to do that however many nights of the week that your show comes on, if someone sees you in public and they want to share how they feel about what you are sharing on a regular basis when you are affecting so many different lives, then I feel that you have the right to do so, especially if they're not harming you in any way. And this guy didn't threaten him. The guy didn't put his hands on him. He just let him know how he felt. He said, I feel like you're the worst kind of human being. And, a lot of the people on the Fox News network, they are getting into a very treacherous territory right now where it involves all of the different mandates about the vaccine and about wearing masks and things like that. They're sharing a lot of the vitriol that people feel about this stuff, and everybody has the right to feel how they want to feel about it, of course, as long as you're not affecting somebody else. I don't feel that anybody should be yelling at anyone else about you need to wear your mask, or I don't feel anyone who doesn't want to wear a mask should be threatening or making anyone else feel uncomfortable who is wearing a mask. Social distance yourself from people, mind your business, do your part to stay safe, and do as best as you can, and just don't hang around a bunch of idiots, then you will be okay. But when they are consistently doing this on a regular basis, sharing how they feel about the vaccine and the mask and possible mandates and maybe possible things that may be happening in the future if the numbers, continue to increase, then they are affecting people's lives. And there have been reports of people who have decided they were not going to do anything to possibly help prevent the spread, and then they wind up getting it, and then unfortunately it is too late for them. And so there are people who have turned around from it, and they're telling people, I believe that you should go and get it. They're not forcing anyone to do it, but now some companies are starting to put that into place and are starting to mandate it. So you just kind of have to make the decision that you have to make for your own life and livelihood. But Fox News and some Republican congressmen are now starting to say the opposite of what they were saying before. And the reason being is because they could get sued if the statements come back to bite them in the ass, and it turns out that people who listened to them and took their advice died, and then the family members of those people can prove that they were listening to these people continuously and consistently, and it caused people to die. So it's being reported that that's one of the reasons why Fox News is now, in a way, not everyone on the news station, but a number of them are starting to talk about the seriousness of this situation that's going on and encouraging people to go and get the vaccine. And even there are some senators who are now coming out and saying, yeah, I got it, and I was fine, but they didn't say it before. They were out there rallying with other people in the crowd saying, protect our rights, and this is a violation of freedom and all of this other craziness. And it's just like, okay, if people feel that way, let them feel that way. But you being in a position of power or leadership or of influence like a lot of these people who are hosts on the Fox News network are, and they are out there leading the pack with all of this stuff, then it's just crazy. I just don't understand it. Again, people have the right to feel how they want to feel. But with this guy going up to Tucker Carlson in that store and sharing how he feels about him, it was funny. But it was also like, yeah, finally somebody gets to say something. And of course, Tucker Carlson, honestly, he's just like a privileged punk, in my opinion. So he just laughed it off like it was no big deal. But I do believe he was a bit surprised by it, because he probably felt like this person looked like him and just assumed, if this person looks like me, then they feel the same way that I feel. But you can never judge a book by its cover. So he played that one wrong. And yeah, the guy let him know how he felt about him. But you let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. Michael Flynn, he's the former National Security Advisor, and he was pardoned by the former president. He made so many shocking comments and a lot of things that was just like, why is this guy able to walk around free at this point? Even though we knew that, unfortunately, he was pardoned by the previous president, he continues to make statements that are just pretty much outrageous, and it's just because of the privilege that he has that he's able to walk around and continue to do what he does. He's made mention of there should be just like in the country Myanmar, that there should be some way to stage a coup and get his buddy back in office. And he tried to walk those comments back before and say, well, I didn't really mean that. But he was recently given a gift in a California church, and it was an assault style rifle. And I'm like, what kind of church is this? Like, who do these people worship? I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with owning a gun, but what church in the world that has leaders that are in their right mind that gifts someone an assault rifle? Like, what is the purpose of that? Like, was Jesus packing heat? I don't know. I mean, I've seen it on an episode of Family Guy, but we all know that show is not real. So yeah, it was funny as a cartoon, but to have a church that's bringing a parishioner, a guest, or whatever he is, I don't know if he's a member of the church. I don't think he is. I think he was just a guest there, to bring him up on the stage and present him with a gift of an assault rifle is absolutely crazy. But the name of the church is Church of Glad Tidings. So I guess the glad tidings are they're giving gifts of guns to people that they deem worthy of them. Absolutely insane. But the church is in Yuba City, California. And so when he was gifted this rifle, he made a comment, and it's supposed to be a joke, but he smiles and he responded loudly, "Maybe I'll find somebody in Washington, D.C." Now, if he was, I'm sorry, I'm putting race in it because it's just true. If he was, if he was black, he would not even be in that position. But if he was black and he had went through all of the things that he went through, and he made a statement like that, like, they would have him in the first cop car smoking to lock his ass up. Now, like, what kind of joke is that? Like, who are you speaking of? Who do you mean that you are going to go find in Washington, D.C.? But he was allowed to make that comment. But even as shocking and even as egregious as him making that comment was the fact that the parishioners were laughing at it. There was no hesitancy. There was no or shock, or it's just quiet, like you can hear a pin drop. Like, no, they were laughing at it. So I don't know what kind of church this is. I mean, they sound crazy, so I would steer clear of this church if I were you. And I don't know who these people were that were on the stage with him. Of course, there's a couple of black people on the stage, but the majority of them are white, and one of them is holding I guess it's a painting of him in front of the American flag wearing his military uniform. But he's just a disgrace, and I mean, he's coming across like some crazy lunatic. So I don't know. We'll see what comes of it. Probably nothing, but that's just what it is. So you let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Former football player Herschel Walker, he has made his political thoughts very well known over the past couple of years. He's a staunch supporter of Donald Trump, and he's just made a lot of comments that are just like, dude, like, shut up. I'm all for people voting for whoever they want to vote for, but some of the comments he's made has just been like, why do you have to go there? Being someone who's had the opportunity to have the career that you've had, the opportunities that you have been privileged to have, and people may say, well, he worked hard for it, but not everybody who works as hard gets to be in a position like that to be in the NFL, which are pretty much short-term spans anyway. But for someone like him to be against reparations, I just find it just vile. Like, just be quiet about it. Like, if you're not for it, just be quiet about it. But why do you have to be on the panel of black people that says that black people don't need reparations? Like, I will never understand that for the life of me, because it's like, reparations would help so many black people get out of the space of poverty and struggling. And you claim that African Americans are so, the reason for a lot of the high crime rates. If you're not an idiot, then you know that the majority of the crime rates are due to people not having money, and it results in people resulting to crime. And then you have the domestic, which it doesn't matter how much money you have, but a lot of it is due to poverty. So help get people out of that state and give them a leg up, because I don't care how many people out here say that they pick themselves up by their own bootstraps and whatever. A lot of these people, like the Jeff Bezos, like the former president, and people like that, they didn't just have nothing and then got into something. They got help. They got a boost. And a lot of us who are African Americans do not have that, did not have that, and will not have that. But at any rate, getting off the soapbox about that, it's been reported that he's been considering a possible run for the U.S. Senate in Georgia, but his pass is coming up, and it's just a lot of things that don't really look good. According to a number of public records, there's been a lot of things that reflect a pattern of turbulent and sometimes threatening behavior that could overshadow his Senate bid. And there are documents that detail accusations of threats that he made on his ex-wife's life, and exaggerated claims about private sector success and erratic behavior that disturbed his business allies. And his ex-wife, by the name of Cindy Grossman, she noted that he had outbursts in their divorce proceedings, and she told of physically abusive and threatening behavior. In 2005, 4 years after she'd sued for divorce, Grossman returned to the court for a protective order after Walker reportedly and repeatedly voiced a desire and an intent to take out, to kill her and her boyfriend. I'm sorry. It's, they said that he's made mention of issues regarding mental illness and mental health issues. But that's just not looking too good. And I mean, I guess anything is possible, because I mean, the former president had lots of things that just did not look good, and we thought that he was down for the count, and he wound up getting into office. But Herschel Walker is no Donald Trump, so I'm not sure if he will get the same fate and get the same grace that the former president got, but we shall see. We'll see if he's able to overcome the past issues that he has pretty much put on himself, and be able to progress and move forward. I do believe that everyone has a past and everyone goes through stuff in their life, but I don't know, somebody like him, I'm not in the state of Georgia, but I would not want him to be my representative. Having a past like that, currently being against reparations for the African American community, but yet you want to be a representative for, for me in my district or my state. Nah. But anyway, guys, you let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section.
Kiss my ass.